This video is for United States Chief Justice John Roberts and Chief Justice John Roberts only. If you are not Chief Justice John Roberts, you can stay and sit aside and hear him getting dressed down by a former defendant of him. Yeah, I used to defend Chief Justice Roberts on social media. I'm illegal if you don't know me. Here, I help people decode the lawsuits involved with the Trump administration, take them beyond the headlines to show them that the courts are holding and has our back, right? So early on when I've been doing this, since October 2024, but taking it seriously over the past year, one of the things I used to do every single time there would be a procedural decision, I would tell people to slow down and calm down because I knew you, Chief Justice Roberts. I was around when you were confirmed, when you were first having your hearings, and you looked storybook. It looked like you were built to be on the Supreme Court because your path to get there was unproblematic for the most part. You clerked for the right people. You went to the right school. You ascended and wasn't involved with too many controversies. So it was natural that you would get into this role. And you, over the course of your court, being the Roberts Court, have said that you wanted judges to be come across and people to see you all as neutral observers of applicants of the rule of law without much intervention in other things like politics and policies. And I believe that. That's why I told people, like, no, you and Amy Coney Barrett, I said, you guys would be the swing votes. You know how in the past, Sandra Day O'Connor and other people were the swing votes? I said, you guys would be the swing votes. I determined that Neil Gorsuch seemed to be settling in with Alito and Thomas on the right side. Brett Kavanaugh is bouncing back and forth, still getting his footing. But I said, you would be one of the ones to do the swing votes. And I saw early examples of that in case when you told the Trump administration they had to pay out the money due for the USAID. That's what I was saying to people. And I believe that a lot of people believe that that's until the rocket docket, the emergency docket. And time after time, you kept telling your federal district court judges that were brought cases, examples of your president violating the United States Constitution, violating the concepts of the balance of power, exceeding authority, going in and encroaching upon congressional spending to revoke and impound grants and other funding allocated by Congress, ultra-virus, exceeding his authority, violating the balance of power by ignoring court orders that your district court judges were issuing. First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Third Amendment, Eighth Amendment, 10th Amendment violations, Administrative Procedure Act, clearly, obviously. So when your district court judges saw this, they first tried to say, we're going to block this temporarily while the case continues as to the nation because we don't want this impact everyone. And you all stepped in and said, no, you can't. No, you can only adjudicate. You can only make decisions as to the parties in front of you and maybe perhaps a class. You create a class certification, which is cumbersome, but that's a limit. No nationwide injunctions because you guys want to be the arbiters of the rule of the land, which I understand. But that could be the case, but as Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson warned in her dissenting opinion when you guys blocked the nationwide injunctions in the birthright citizenship case, she said, what's going to stop this administration from forcing people to have to come to court over and over again and defend themselves? They won't stop. They will never, ever go to the Supreme Court to be told, ultimately, you can't do this because you're going to keep granting them the emergency docket. And they're going to keep forcing people to have to keep coming to court. And that's what we have. I call the whack-a-mole. Every single time they've gone and sued a state for access to their voter rolls, 6 times now they've lost. Every single time they've revoked grants to states that are blue states, infrastructure grants that have nothing to do with immigration enforcement because they are sanctuary state that do not cooperate with the federal immigration policy and agenda. They get kicked out of court because the courts was a 10th Amendment, but they keep doing it over and over and over again. That's what Ketanji Brown Jackson warned against. That's why she said, stop granting them the emergency order. They just want to violate people's rights. They don't want to follow the law. They want to exceed their authority. And it's clear and it's evident time and time again. And you see this and you keep letting them do this. Justice Kavanaugh regretted his concurrent opinion when y'all on an emergency basis told the Trump administration they can go ahead and racially profile people. Because of that, they went to Minnesota. They did their surge in Minnesota, and arguably that was a chain of reaction that led to Alex Preddy, Renee Good, and a host of other people being unalived by ICE agents because y'all greenlit. That's what happens when you tell them to go forward. There are people, when you said you can do third-party deportations without giving the people the right to go to court and defend themselves and say, I shouldn't be sent to this nation that's a war-torn nation itself, and then eventually repatriate it back to another country that they've already said that they feared and they fled persecution from, which is a violation of the United Nations Convention Against Torture Reform, Anti-Refoulement Clause. So you're letting the United States go around the anti-refoulement obligations under UN, United States Convention Against United Nations Convention Against Torture, via third party, which are not safe 30-party agents, which are really countries that are like horrible. It has human rights records and just not safe party. And you let that happen. And you let them fire the education workers, you let them fire the probationary workers, you let them do all these things and keep going. Say, no, they have no agenda. Donald Trump has no agenda. He ran for office and you let him, by giving him immunity, though it's for official acts, the fact that he's asking his AG for you to intervene on his behalf and for him sexually assaulting, essaying a woman, getting found liable for that, and then liable for defaming her. He's asking you to intervene because he thinks y'all owe him, because you put three of y'all into the court stay, so you guys owe him. So you let him think that, and you let him think that because of the emergency docket. If you hadn't granted him all these emergency dockets, it was unprecedented, more than Obama and Biden, I think, combined. He's done an emergency and you've granted it. And it's not an emergency. He just does not want to follow the law. That's what Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, that's what Justice Elena Kagan, that's what Justice Sotomayor tells you. They just don't want to follow the law. And you're letting them. And so why are you surprised that people are saying Justice Roberts said, I think at a very basic level, people think that we're making policy decisions. We're saying we think this is how things should be as opposed to what the law provides. I think they view us as purely political actors, which I don't think is an accurate understanding of what we do. And no, whether it's not or not, you have this illusion that you have the neutral court. I saw on 4 occasions, whenever you came out publicly, you told the executive and other people, be careful about ignoring my federal district court judges, abide by them, but you're not abiding by their decisions. These judges are taking their painstaking time and releasing 100, 200, and some points 300-page opinions, because they're looking at the facts, they're looking at the law, they're looking at and they want to make sure that they're not going to be overruled. And the Court of Appeals, when they see their case, they're like, wow, y'all did a good job. And that's why the Trump administration have a 70% loss rate, because they're violating the law. And these judges are breaking their backs. And after they break their backs and issue the orders and say, don't do this, and they put injunctions, you're lifting the injunctions. You're doing that. Say, no, go ahead. And then at least the recent one with the voting rights. So we see you, not only you're the court that took away affirmative action, took away abortion access and bodily autonomy of women. You're the court that now is taking away the voting rights of Black people, disenfranchising. And that's right along the ideological lines of the Republicans and the right. So what world are you living in that you think that people won't think you're political? Because those emergency, that shadow docket abuse this last summer and leading up to this, coming up to this summer, is abuse of the shadow docket, and is a way for you, because there's no opinion. They don't go through the normal process of courts when you have like briefings scheduled back and forth and arguments. It's just an emergency, unsigned. Sometimes someone would do a concurrent opinion or a dissenting opinion, as Kavanaugh did with the stop and frisk, the Fourth Amendment violation of migrants case, and the way that Ketanji Brown Jackson and Justices Sotomayor and Kagan have been doing throughout this tyrannical terror of your court. So yeah, your court, you whether you wanted to have appearance of neutrality, that bus is left. I don't know how you fix that. You could possibly, you can't fix it, you can repair it, you can slow down. This summer, rocket docket, stop taking his rocket docket cases, because they're going to continue. They're not stopping. Despite the fact that this man has a 23% approval rating, he's going to have a 5% approval rating. You can't say you're blind to politics, because this is pure activist. A lot of times, it's out of control. So you want the image of neutrality without confronting what the emergency docket has become. It's become a pathway for Donald Trump and the Republicans' policy agenda to be put forth, and it's not even-handed. The emergency docket has shifted that. And you fix it by don't grant them this summer. And when these cases come on substance, really act on law, because a lot of these cases are losers for him. From birthright citizens, whatever. We've seen you on substance. We've seen y'all on substance go against them multiple times. But this rocket docket procedural thing, you got to stop. That's all I got for you. Hopefully one of your family members or somebody sees this. Share this widely so people know maybe he'll see this. But you have a chance to change this. I defended you. I can no longer defend you. Act right. Stop this. Save your legacy. Legal, each one teach one. Share this video so more people know. Go to jdlegal.com to get my fan of both.